Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, Heart of the Nightfang Spire. This is Season 4, and we are on episode 17 already of this season. This episode is entitled Under His Watchful Eyes. And we will get into the game in just a little bit. If you're new here, Dawnbringers is our campaign that happens with all of these fine folks every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. While you're here, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that follow icon. And also, if you haven't done so, hit that subscription if you want. Help support the channel. I don't know how this happened. We're up to 65 subscribers right now, which means we're only 35 away from hitting 100 subscribers. Nothing special happens other than I like the number 100. So also, and as D&D Jordan has just gifted a sub, which is going to increase our domain dice. I also, in reviewing the tape, I realized that I did not give you a domain die last week at the end of the session when D&D Jordan subscribed. So there's that one. And Tamiko just resubscribed for 20 months in a row. Look at that. Stacked you up with some domain dice right off the bat. In case you're wondering what domain dice are, they are, of course, the way that you, the audience, can have an impact on the game. By subscribing, resubscribing, if we happen to get rated, a $5 tip or a 500-bit cheer will translate into domain dice. The domain dice, what those do, just showed up when Jeremy typed domain dice in the chat. So lots of cool effects from those domain dice. Make sure we keep the Dawnbringers flush with those dice. I have a feeling they're going to be needing them more and more as they progress. Couple of real quick announcements beyond that, and we'll get into the actual game. First and foremost, I am going to say I'm wrestling with a few tech issues, so don't be surprised if you see a little bit of lagginess on the stream. If we do get disconnected, we will try to get us back into the game pretty quickly, but if it becomes too troublesome, we will default to having to continue the session offline, recording it, and then we'll get the VOD uploaded later. That's sort of our last worst case scenario. Depending on what's going on, we may decide to just stop so that you don't miss anything. But I wanted you to be aware that that is a possibility. Be sure to check out typing !merch and check out the Mini Terrain Domain merch that is available at Teespring. We have just launched some new, just last week we launched the new Splorch, the Jelly Cube line of t-shirts and sweatshirts, and there's shirts for the kids, there's a sticker you can get, and we have a new design. I was hoping to be able to preview it and actually tell you, hey, it's available now. It will be available soon. I was having an issue with the site, but our first ever character-based shirt from this campaign will be available very soon. And I will tell you that character is Cantriel. What the design is, you will have to wait, but it does have a Cantriel quote, and it's a pretty cool design. It's a collaboration between V and I for that. So very excited to share that with you. In the meantime, you can get all kinds of other cool t-shirts and stickers and whatnot on the merchandise store. I don't plug this very often, but as I've said, with the tech issues, there's some need for some serious hardware upgrades. So I've just put in the wrong link. That's not the one I wanted to do. I forget which one it is. Somewhere one will pop up that says something about, I think it has the Patreon links and the Ko-Fi links. If you feel compelled. They're, That's why I don't plug it very often. You know, if people want to support the channel, they'll support the channel however they feel like it. But just know that support right now is being directed at building a new streaming rig, so I can continue to bring awesome high production value games to you. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get to our regular announcements super quick, and then we'll move on to the game. First off, of course, as always, is Jasper's Game Day. We just got done with Jasper's Con this past weekend. I ran a game. Dan ran a game. I don't know if anybody else here was involved in that, but at the end of the weekend, after 5 days, they had, I think the final tally was just shy or just over $33,000 raised in the streaming total. That was what went into the Tiltify. When you add in all the money they raised through auctioning off all the seats for the various games, over $50,000 was raised in 5 days. All of that money going to benefit suicide education programs and prevention programs, working with the American Association of Suicidology. So that is absolutely phenomenal, the amount that was raised. You can apparently, I'm being told that some of the, I had everything turned off for the con, so I didn't get everything turned back on. But if you can't get the prompt to work, you can scroll down below the stream. There is a direct donation link on the Jasper's card. You can also go through Initiative Coffee Company, typing !coffee in the chat, and you can get yourself a 12-ounce bag of Mitide roast coffee. For every bag of the coffee that you get, $3 of that is going to benefit Jasper's Game Day. One way that you can help support the channel is by checking out our sponsor by typing in the chat !MTD Claw. You got it. He got it finally after 3 weeks. That is, of course, Talon and Claw, makers of quality wooden gaming accessories, such as this Dice Vault here. Absolutely incredible workmanship, fine quality, DM screens, dice trays, all kinds of awesome stuff. Go there, pick out what you want, load a bunch of stuff in your cart, and then before you check out, type in MTD Claw into the promotional code, and you'll get 10% off your order, and that helps to support the channel. Let's see. D&D Beyond, of course, has given us insider access, and we are very appreciative of that. I've been using their combat tracker and encounter builders throughout this game and other games, as well as many of the digital book tools, and all of our characters are in D&D Beyond as well. You can see them by mousing over the screen. All right, I think I've covered everything. So with that, we are going to move into the actual game here with a quick little recap to bring everybody up to speed. We are, of course, very glad to have Scotty with us. He was gone last week, so this recap is just as much for Scotty as it is for you, the audience. So in that previous session began with, was it the previous one or the one before that? I'm already lost. No, you began last session with the rest after the battle with the hags and the servitors, the Gerithan servitors, defeating one of the hags, but two of them got away, defeating 3 of the Gerithan and letting the other 3 go. You took a rest. You experimented a little bit with the teleportation alcove, most notably in Thorgarn throwing his hammer into it, and it just vanished. And eventually it came back. And then Talmud had the incredible idea to build a barrier in front of it, basically putting tiger stakes and everything else, so that if anybody does teleport into it, they're going to have a very bad day. Eventually, the party decided to move onward. They investigated a set of double doors that led to a long hallway and another set of double doors, where they found an empty room with a curved section of wall and a metal plate that had an engraving of a dragon and a keyhole. Very quickly realizing they would need to find the remaining 3 parts of the dragon key, they headed back to investigate the other rooms. Moving through a series of crypts, they were able to discover, what they thought was an empty crypt. What in fact turned out to be a large mimic pretending to be a crypt, along with a smaller mimic pretending to be a treasure chest. Now, one of the reasons why they were so eager to investigate this and preceding crypts is Cantriel summoned forth her mother, who inhabits her bow, her magical bow, and asked some questions about her father and learned a secret about her father, something that she had not known. Just a little thing that Cantriel learned, that her father was in fact a half dragon. He was half elf, half dragon, of the red draconic line, more specifically of the blood of a Chardalon, making Cantriel near the end of that line of a Chardalon, or at least most recent in the line of a Chardalon. So that was a bit of a lore drop for Cantriel. Also, she learned that though he refused to be used as a pawn in Gulthias's games, and he was killed, Gulthias respected him enough that he did not turn him to undeath and created a tomb for him, a crypt for him here in the catacombs. What is happening? Where is everybody going?
We lost a Zach.
Yeah, he dropped, so we're trying to.
Oh,
juggle.
I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
We're done, Jake. This is over.
But no, I think we lost Ted.
Sure enough.
Yeah, that's why I dropped my camera.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't turn my camera back on until he comes back.
It was throwing me off because I have Zoom set up so that it hides the non-video participants.
Where'd you go? Now what do we do?
Well, I guess we just wait for Ted to show back up.
Ba-dum-bum.
Dun, 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 dun,
See,
dun,
that's all you have to do.
Oh, here he is.
Do you have to let him back in?
Yep, I'm letting him in. So as we get everybody situated back in again, Tamiko says the webcam probably is a mimic. Dr. Faust actually suggested that the webcam is a mimic. Everything is a mimic. Says Caden the mimic.
Life is a mimic right now. Who are we kidding?
Caden,
that thought.
Caden was one of my players on Sunday's Jasper's game. Okay, so now that we got that straightened out for the moment, that was why the Dawnbringers were looking in all of the crypts, even more so because Cantriel is looking now for the crypt of her father, Daddy Dragonborn. The most recent event was that they, in investigating a couple of rooms, discovered an ancient dried up fountain. Cantriel read part of the inscription in Draconic, just half of it, just enough to cause a single drop of a sweet smelling honey-like liquid to drip from the dragon's mouth. Talmud, being Talmud, thought, hey, I'm going to go taste that. And wound up becoming frozen in time. They spent the next several minutes and 2 warlock-packed magic slots to dispel magic. Not to mention that I think Cantriel tried.
Spell, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and Cantriel tried, and it took some inspiration, and it took some domain dice. but Talmud was rescued, with the last words being uttered to him as he discovered he was in a different room, not in front of the fountain, with Drown staring at him. Gerithan said, "It's been 8 years, Talmud." And Talmud was like, huh? And that's where we ended. So that's exactly where we're going to pick up 8 years later, or rather 8 minutes later, as you are no longer frozen in time. What would you like to do?
So, whatever's coming out of the fountain isn't mead. It's some kind of weird magical time trap?
Yes. And Drown just kind of pats him on the shoulder and looks around at the rest of the Dawnbringers. Would you be amenable to taking a rest and allowing me to recuperate my magic?
Well, considering everything I just had to do, I wouldn't mind either.
That was a considerable expenditure to break that spell.
I wouldn't mind taking a moment.
You guys take a lot of moments.
You're about to get another one.
I think that's a threat. I'm not sure.
No, usually it's a promise.
Ah.
So I guess we're going to try to take a long rest, or short rest.
You have, sorry, in order to mitigate the computer problems, I'm running the PDF off of my phone now. You do have the room that you're in right now, which was sort of an empty, there was a, it's not completely empty, there was a sarcophagus in here that you cleaned out. But it's sort of an antechamber to the fountain room. It has a door to the fountain, which was a dead end, and it has a door the other way. So it would be a perfectly safe, for now, location for all of you. At 20 feet by 20 feet, plenty of room for all of you if you choose to take a rest in there. Looks like Ted's having some issues tonight, too.
Oh boy, we're back.
We'll just roll with it. The things will be distorted, but let's just go ahead and roll with it. You guys know what to do when he gets back in here.
Yep.
So you can either, if you want to have any conversations during this rest, go ahead, or anything else you want to do. Otherwise, we can fast forward the rest.
Yeah, at one point, Talmud is going to find his way over to Drown. Here, hold on. Let me get my eyes at least. He's going to find his way over to Drown.
My eyes are up here.
And then he's going to say, I appreciate whatever it is that you did while I was, so thanks.
Of course. You were in no danger, it seemed. So there is that.
That's good to know. But I appreciate the effort you went through. As you said, I'm sure it was considerable.
It was worth it.
Well, thank you, Drown. I appreciate that.
Of course. You have done a great deal for me when you didn't have to.
Well, it was nothing. Glad to have you around. I hadn't said it before.
I'm glad to be around. And he says that he almost sounds a little surprised when he says it. It has been some time since I traveled with or around this many people.
Well, stick with us and you'll get to see all the beautiful sights. And he'll kind of like gesture to like this horrible, like dank crypt that they're in.
It sounds like it's only going to get worse. We are going to hunt an ancient dragon, are we not?
It's sounding more and more like it. I really hope that we don't have to go to that place where all the buildings were made of brass. Though they were very beautiful, I'd really not rather go there.
I'm hoping that that was mostly a nightmare, and that if we do have to go there, there are fewer dragon things. I don't trust our luck, though.
You and me both. Well, I'll let you catch up on your rest there.
He just kind of nods, settles down, and starts to concentrate and focus.
Anybody else want to cover anything during this rest?
Cantriel would probably head over to Talmud as well once she saw that he was done talking with Drown. You know, maybe next time just don't stick your finger in it and lick it.
Well, it looked and it smelled just like mead. I mean, if I were rich and I built a place like this, I'd put a mead fountain in my place.
Yes, but it's not exactly the place of a normal person, is it?
At some point, we have to pass all of the traps and danger. Otherwise, he's sneaking around here in his pajamas, triggering traps whenever he gets up in the middle of the night for a snack. Right?
You think Golthias wears pajamas?
God, I hope so.
I don't know. I've heard things about those vampires.
I'm not even going to say it.
Wow, it must be bad if you wouldn't say it.
There was a joke about stiffs in there somewhere. And...
Oh, I thought it was going to be about sucking.
You don't have to choose between the two.
Hard.
This is a good point to remind everybody that this is a mature themed game, apparently.
I don't know if I'd use that
Jeremy.
Well, yeah, mature maybe isn't the right word to use, but
It's an immature mature.
Heavy on the quotation marks. So, a dangerous thought about said liquid is, kind of come to mind. Thorgarn takes the mug that he's got on his belt, pours a little bit of water into it, holds it upside down. Water doesn't go anywhere. Turns it and points it at a wall, says some phrase, and the water just goes shooting across.
How long have you been keeping that one in your pocket?
I got it on the boat. I think it's just supposed to be so I don't fill the drink, or supposed so I don't spill the drink. But that's a liquid. I think that we might be able to use to our advantage.
Well, I mean, I could always read the first part again.
Is it still dripping? The fountain?
it's in the other room. And you had only seen the one drip.
Again, that the loosely mature.
Still solidly PG-13. We're good.
Oh yeah, this is in this day and age. This is must-see TV on prime time. We're good.
So I will head back into the other room, and I will take a look at said fountain.
All right. So, looking at the fountain. All right. Just to encourage your current level of humor, this fountain is in room 69 right now.
Nice.
Nice.
So, Thorgarn, you head into this room, and once again you see the fountain that is sitting there. The little bit that had dripped out of the dragon's mouth was just what Talmud had sort of picked up with his finger and had already ingested. But you do see on the front of the basin in Draconic, you see the phrase that says, "Shatter the bonds of time until a Chardalon returns."
So, but just reading it in my head doesn't do anything.
Nope. And you would know from what happened before, when Cantriel spoke the first half of the phrase, it caused a single drip to form.
I will say the first phrase and try to see if I can catch it in the cup, the chalice.
So you're just going to say the first half, "Shatter the bonds of time"?
See what happens.
You see a very minuscule drip begin to form, and it barely has enough weight to even start to form out of the dragon's mouth, whatever the spout is.
Did anyone follow me into the room, or am I in here by myself?
I probably would have followed behind.
I went in.
So, what do you think? Do we say the other part to see if we
Well, what if I can try saying the first part again.
I can read it too. We got a drop. I don't know how this is all going to work, and I don't want to do anything that's going to risk
Break time?
But every advantage that we can get.
Well, we just need to make sure Talmud doesn't have any more.
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Fine. Aye.
All right.
All right, so I say the second half.
As you say the second half, completing the phrase, you see the drop quickly well up, and thick like honey, a small amount of this liquid begins to spill out of the mouth of this dragon.
So I will, get enough in the goblet so that there's, a little more than half full, and then just ever so carefully, pull it back so I don't get anything to touch me.
Okay. So you put this into your unspillable mug.
The trusty tankard, correct, sir.
Oh, jeez. You can mark that you have with the amount that you've captured. You have an amount, whatever you're going to do with it. But you can basically mark it as that your mug is full of a potion of temporal stasis. What it does is what you know that it does. It freezes dwarves, at least.
It freezes dwarves. I like it.
All right.
Now the only trick is to make sure I don't try and drink this.
Maybe I should carry it then.
I'm not like my cousin, but if you would rather do so, just once it's used, I'd prefer it back.
Well, I'm fine with your carrying it as long as you're not tempted thinking it's me by accident.
It was a jest, and I'm not gonna.
I figured as much.
Massive drown hand comes from off screen and swat.
This feels like the tankard in Sea of Thieves. You fill it up with ale and then just put it in your inventory and it just stays there.
Barfing everywhere before you know it.
Yep.
So, does the fountain shut off, or does it keep going?
You basically got enough to fill half the mug and it stopped.
Oh, excellent.
All right. What else would you like to do?
So I kind of had some issues with Zoom getting kicked off twice. So did you guys complete a short rest? Is this part of the short rest?
We'll consider this as part of the short rest. You're not really doing much of anything.
Yeah, this is all during.
Did
Let me
Cantriel
get a
do
song of.
song?
I can do a song.
I am certainly spending hit dice, so
Okay. Then Song of Rest. Wait, do you actually want a song?
I'm not saying you have to sing. I just want to know if Cantriel is
Always. I can do one, I think. Hold on.
and what is your current die?
It is, I believe, that D6 still. Let me check.
Song of Rest doesn't cost you anything.
Get back here. 1d6.
All right. So with Cantriel's Song of Rest, everybody's able to gain an extra D6 of healing. Anything else you want to do during this rest while you're chilling out in this antechamber? Otherwise, as a reminder, the other side of the door that's not the Draconic Fountain, there is a room that is you had entered. This was the first door in there. There was another door. I'm just checking the numbers here based on your progression last time. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm trying to remember how many rooms you made.
I think it was 7.
So you basically have in this room, which is about 60 or so feet east to west at its widest part, there's those 3 small crypts that have, one of them has a door facing to the south. The other 2 you don't see doors on, but they're basically 10 feet by 10 feet crypts. Freestanding in the middle of this room. And then there was on that south wall, there was a single door and a double door. I was trying to remember if you had gone through that other single door. I don't believe you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is across the room another door to the north. So basically there's a whole bunch more doors in here. The double door, as a reminder, that was sort of in the southeast corner, had etchings of dragons on it.
Right. I say we check the other dragon door.
I was thinking, were we originally planning to check? There was a door on the other side of the fountain room, right?
Oh, that's right.
No.
No?
No.
Or did
Okay.
we go through it?
Nope. The fountain was a dead end.
Ah, okay. Got it. All right. That door suggestion sounds good.
Well, I mean, you know, dragons. Seems to be something of a hint.
All right. Well, you've taken a rest, and so more than an hour has passed. So,
So no more Noorman.
Noorman, the doorman, your invisible servant, is, your unseen servant is gone. So that leaves Talmud, I guess, to try to open the door.
No asking where'd he go? You don't see him?
Would I? Well, we never see him. He's unseen.
Well, he's not here anymore, and considering well, quite frankly, you're making me nervous and I want to try and hold out my reserves.
Who's making you nervous? Me?
You. In case I need to heal you or something else.
Mister, I'm gonna drink something random in a vampire's lair.
He kind of just like shoots daggers at Thorgarn. It was mead.
No,
You know what? Fine.
wasn't.
He's gonna walk up to the doors and just like push them
Boom.
back.
You know,
No.
you know how when you go to open a door and walk through it at the same moment, and you don't quite twist it enough to unlatch it? That's what happens to Talmud. You go to push through this door, and you just kind of go into it. It is locked.
Yeah, he's griping at Thorgarn and then just slams his face straight into this door. Oh.
Did you have to open it there, cousin?
It's locked.
Sometimes it helps to jiggle the knob first to check. Just saying.
You know from the firmness with which the handle did not turn that it is in fact locked.
So, refresh my memory. The only person who could pick locks was our erstwhile companion, who was now captured by a vampire.
Yes, the only one who could
Noah.
effectively pick locks.
Right.
You do have her thieves' tools if you wanted to take a guess at how those work.
Well, maybe I could give it a try.
Be my guest.
Are you going to use Yesha's thieves' tools?
Yes, I will try using Yesh's thieves' tools.
Okay.
Yes.
Yesh.
Give me a dexterity check as you attempt.
Okay, I forgot to take out my dice. One moment, please. Oh, this will be fun because people get to find out one of my collections. Right. So, it's got to be the right one too. There you are. Okay, just a straight up check.
Straight up dex check.
Okay, well that's going to be an 18.
You take these couple of tools that you've seen Yesha use, and it can't be that hard. And you put them in. You put a little bit of tension on the one, and you start feeling around inside the lock. And okay, you start to feel something move, and then you hear this click. But there's also this ting sound that you never heard when Yesha was picking. And as you pull out the end of the lockpick, it's broken.
Well, that's not supposed to happen. Can I do mending? I stick it back in and cast mending to pull it back out. Wait,
Sure.
1 minute.
I mean, that I've never seen mending used for that, but it makes sense. That's what the spell's for.
There we go.
Okay.
I fix it.
So that was it was okay to cast that spell.
I can cast that whenever I want.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. Talmud says, not understanding in the least.
Talmud, did you happen to bring the key to this door?
I did, as a matter of fact. He kind of reaches up and gets Gerithan.
Oh, fine. She'll move out of the way.
Once it's clear, there's nobody standing around, he's gonna step back, rear back with Gerithan, and then swing right at kind of above the doorknob.
I don't know why I assumed that was a symbolic gesture. when you pulled that off. All right. You slam Gerithan into the door. Go ahead and give me a damage roll.
That is a 14 total.
You feel the two doors as they sort of push in a little bit, and you see some cracks form around the center line of both doors. You figure it's going to take another swing or two or three. I imagine you'll just keep swinging until the job's done. So we cut briefly to the other side of the door, where we just hear this and a little bit of light and some dust, and suddenly and a big section of bright light as a section of the door breaks open, and then we just see Talmud's face peering inside the room into the darkness, and then a few more swings of the hammer, and you're able to break out where the locking mechanism is and open the doors. Once you do so, you see a room that is about 20 feet wide, with this door in the center of the north wall of this room. The room is about 35 feet deep. There's broken pieces of stone and masonry beyond the door that you just shattered. There seems to be other bits like this. The walls and the floor and the ceiling are done in a mosaic of red and white and black tiles, with the mosaic forming imagery of what you now know undoubtedly to be a Chardalon. In the center of the room is a very large pedestal. The pedestal is carved to look like it's made of stone. It's not carved to look like it's stone. It's made of stone. But it's carved to have decorative elements of dragon-like features, including a portion of the pedestal that forms a dragon's mouth, inside of which you can see what looks to be a piece of the dragon key.
Wonderful. Who'd like to lose a hand?
Talmud
Not
stops
really.
reaching towards it.
Don't.
Kind of like backs up.
How far into the room is this?
It's in the middle of the room, so it's a good less than 20 feet.
Gerithan will reach out with his mind, and using his Githzerai psionics, will effectively cast Mage Hand and attempt to lift the key piece out and pull it towards him.
You reach across with your you said this was Mage Hand?
Yeah, it's invisible because it's through the psionics.
So you reach out with your mind, and you hear the rattling of the key suddenly as Talmud, what you see is Talmud was reaching for this key and then stopped. And then you see Talmud about, because it's up a little ways, because this pedestal's huge. You see about 6 feet away from your hands, the key starts to go, starts shaking in the mouth of this dragon.
Whoa! Oh! He kind of like looks around.
And then you, Talmud, see the dragon mouth close firmly around the key.
I didn't do that. I didn't do it.
As the pedestal takes a swipe at you.
Of course it does.
Oops.
And it is going to get a single attack against you, and then we're going to roll for initiative. So that is going to be a claw attack. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
I think that is the magic number. It is.
If possible, I'd like to use my protective field reaction to reduce whatever damage he takes.
The damage would be 9 points of slashing damage.
I'll try to deflect it if I can.
Did you say 9 points?
Yeah, I don't know that anybody but Talmud went into the room.
Well, I was there. I mean, I can do it within 30 feet.
You're within 30 feet, so you could mitigate it that way.
Yeah, he takes no points.
He takes no points?
Yeah, 9 was the number I rolled
Okay.
for.
All right, we're going to go ahead and we are going to roll for initiative. As this pedestal, this giant stone pedestal, has become animated. And I will get those numbers from you in just a moment. There we go. All right, Thorgarn, what you got?
A mighty 3.
Cantriel, a 12.
12.
Griveth,
15.
that's weird. It shouldn't have showed Fig, but it did. I'll put Fig at nothing. Talmud.
Talmud got a 20.
All right. Drown, you got a 17.
Correct.
Not 100 and negative 117 is what it put. You never get to go. Gerithan, 18.
Yes, sir.
And the animated pedestal gets a 13. So that is going to be Talmud who's going first. As this pedestal takes a swipe at you and somehow seems to not actually make contact with you. Some force keeps it from hitting you.
Probably not really understanding exactly what just happened. Gerithan had just kind of prevented this. Talmud just kind of reels back from this thing swinging at him. He's still got Gerithan in his hands, so he's just going to kind of choke up on the haft of that warhammer, and he's going to go to town recklessly. 26 to hit.
Yeah, that is going to hit.
The second one will be 27. So the first is going to do 11 points of non-magical bludgeoning, if it matters.
Non-magical?
Non-magical. Yeah, Gert is not magical.
Okay.
And then the second is going to be 13 points of the same.
All right. Yeah, this stone of this pedestal seems to be harder than any stone you've struck with Gerta. That was 13.
In that case, I'm going to put Gerta away on my turn, and then my next turn I'll draw Ghost Cleaver out.
You managed to chisel a couple little bits away. It seems relatively unfazed. Gerithan, you will be up next.
I'm thinking I'm going to run on in and draw the old scimitars. And I'm going to unleash the Gerithan trademark brand torrent of attacks. Okay. So a 15.
A 15 glances off of the stone, leaving not a mark.
A 19.
19 finds its mark.
And with this attack, I will do a telekinetic strike. So I infuse the attack with psionic power. So it deals 7 points, and that is magical. Plus 8 So 15, and then my die shrinks again to a D6.
Yeah, at least that was a lot of damage. Your
That
swords
was
are
a lot of
magical
damage.
on their own, right?
Yeah, I have a pair of magical swords.
Cool.
They are Hellfire Scimitars.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to make another attack. I don't think a 9's going to cut it.
That's a straight up whiff.
Yeah. It's a torrent that is blind in its accuracy. But I think a 24 is a little better.
Yes. Much better.
And so it takes 7 more points of damage.
All right.
And that is me.
You find that you are able to do much more damage than Talmud did with his big maul. Your scimitars make almost a stone on stone rending sound, as they are this sort of magical obsidian, and big chunks of stone break away from this animated pedestal. Drown, you are up. What did your psychic thing do? Did you just push more damage into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just more damage.
Okay. All right, Drown.
Okay,
Drown, you
my
are
turn.
up with Griveth. You're on deck after Drown.
Okay. So right now we have Talmud and Gerithan up next to the dragon. Is that right?
Yes.
So how big is the room? Can I get, move
20
around
by
to be
35.
decent? Okay.
There's a lot of space in this room.
I'm sure Griveth is going to want to get up in there. Probably also Thorgarn. So I will kind of skirt around the edge of the room until I can get a decently clear shot at some decent portion of the dragon and unleash Eldritch Blasts at it.
All right. Yep. You have no problem maneuvering through.
That is a trio of very decent rolls. My lowest is going to be a 23.
They are all going to hit home.
Lovely. So I'll give it a giant pile of force damage. Ooh. 35 points of force damage from 3 hits.
And you would see this thing sort of shudder and bits of stone break away from it as all of these hits lance into it.
That's my turn.
Griveth, you are up now.
Okay. Griveth sees that Talmud is dealing with this thing, so he's going to go in there to help. He wants to draw Sir Bradford's honor, but will Dawnbringer let him?
Dawnbringer would protest, but would not actually cause any sort of. It doesn't actually. I don't remember. Does it? I know it doesn't.
It's up to you. I'll let you play it how you want.
Mechanically, it doesn't have like you have to make a DC
Right.
save or anything.
Right.
So I think if you make an attempt to sheath Dawnbringer, you would hear the female voice of Dawnbringer in your head. No, what are you doing? We've been in the light for so long. But it's up to you if you choose to ignore the sword.
Yeah, there's kind of this symbiosis going on, I imagine. And psychologically it's hard for him to do this, but he realizes that his best chance is actually Sir Bradford's honor because of its special abilities. So he forces Dawnbringer into the sheath and then pulls Sir Bradford's honor. Okay, so let's attack. Okay. 14.
There is a surprising ring of metal on stone and a reverberation that vibrates up your arm as the sword does nothing to the stone.
That is the worst. When you thwack something and it just...
Yeah. Let's try that again. 17.
This time, it's as if you're finding you're refamiliarizing yourself with this blade that you carried for so long. You shift subtly the grip in your hand, and you cut into the stone this time.
Okay. I don't have it in my inventory anymore. I don't know how that happened, but I don't remember. I renamed it Sir Bradford's Honor. It's not actually called Sir Bradford's Honor.
You can find it if you look up Shatter Spike.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember the name.
Its original name was Shatter Spike.
Okay. I don't remember what it actually, affects inanimate matter, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it has something to do with, I think your hits act like crits.
I believe so, yeah.
On objects, but the phrasing of that is important.
Yeah, let's see here. Sorry.
While we're looking this up, thank you.
That's from Son the Citadel, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
While we're looking this up, thank you to everybody who is patiently dealing with all of the lag spikes. My bandwidth indicator is literally cycling through every color from green to red and back again this entire time. We've dropped about 10,000 frames, so that's fun.
I got it. Okay.
If it hits an object, it is considered an automatic critical hit. However, this creature is considered a creature because it's animated.
Okay.
But you learn that thinking that Sir Bradford's Honor would have much more damage potential, realizing that it is a far inferior weapon
right
to what you were expecting.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let me get you the damage there. So it would be 24 damage.
24 damage. Despite the fact that it doesn't work as hard as you had hoped, you do still manage to chip away some stone. Is that the end of your turn? It is now this turn's thing. Nope, it is this thing's turn. That didn't sound right. As it's been sort of standing there taking hit after hit, it suddenly rears back and it begins to shift from foot to foot, and in a whirl it begins to attack Talmud, Gerithan, and Griveth, who are the closest to it. So it is actually going to get 5 total attacks. Talmud, you are going to get an attack. That is going to be...
It's at advantage.
Thank you. That is now a crit. That was a 3. It's now a crit.
Yeah, let's bust into some of those domain dice.
2 domain dice will undo that crit. I will re-roll one more time, taking the 17 instead. So that is still a 25 to hit. But
definitely.
So you are going to get hit with that first hit. You are going to take 8 points of slashing damage. Gerithan.
Before hold on, Jake. Before you move on, I'm going to do a sentinel attack.
Okay, because yep.
I rolled a 23 to hit.
Okay.
That's 22 damage.
Excellent. It is still standing. You can see now that as it's continuing this whirling motion and you get this attack in, that where it's chipped so much stone away from it, that stone is starting to flake away as it spins around. Gerithan, does a 14 hit you?
Nope.
Its second, or rather third attack is a 26 against you, Gerithan.
That doesn't hit.
That is going to be 8 points of slashing damage.
Do I have my reaction, or did I already use that?
You used your reaction to cut back on Talmud's damage at the top.
And that was points?
Oh, but you already had your turn. But you've had your turn, so
turn.
yes, you have your...
I will use that then. What was the total?
8.
8 points. I take instead 1 point.
All right, and then Griveth, you are going to get a slash attack at 21 to hit.
That is a hit.
That will be... This one hits a little harder. This is 10 points of slashing damage. And then as it's spinning, you see that on the opposite side of this dragon-like mouth that holds the key, there's another dragon face. This one tries to bite you, Griveth. Not Scotty, just Griveth. That is going to be a dirty 20.
So is this like a push me pull you dragon?
Right.
Yeah, that hits.
So that is going to deal a little bit more than the slashing attacks. Potentially. You take 9 points of piercing damage as this thing bites into you. And that is its turn. Cantriel, you are up with Thorgarn on deck.
Right. Mother, why don't you see if you can take some of the bite out of that thing? And, because Mom's still floating around, literally.
Yep.
She'll go over first and do her lovely strength drain. Which I need that D4. Okay. Let's see here. So, does a 17 hit?
17 does just hit.
Oh, okay, cool. So then that is going to be 9 necrotic, and it loses 3 points of strength.
Okay, so 9 necrotic and 3 points off its strength is going to make it lose 1 point off of its modifier. So, okay.
Okay, and then pulling out my bow, I will shoot it a couple times, because I don't like this thing. First one is a 16. Wait, no, take that back. Yes, 16.
Your arrow ricochets off from a smooth portion of stone on it.
Okay, second one is 28.
That makes up for it as it finds a very jagged piece of stone and pierces in and shatters some more of this stone material.
That's 13 piercing it's going to get.
All right. You are slowly whittling away, or rather rapidly, I should say, as we're still in the first round. You're rapidly whittling away at this thing.
That's it for me.
All right. Thorgarn, you're up.
I'm guessing a 12 is a miss.
A 12 is a miss.
I'm assuming a 19 hits.
19 does hit.
And what about a natural 20?
And of course, a natural 20 will hit. I just saw your initiative order, Jeremy.
All right, so 2 hits, 31 points of magical bludgeoning damage.
31?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, this thing is hobbling around a bit. It's not as sturdy on its feet as you've chipped away from it. Fig's not here. Talmud, we are back to you, as your allies all around have been just chiseling away at this thing.
So it looks like it's pretty well mangled at this point.
It's in pretty bad shape.
Okay. So he put away Geritha and then immediately kind of reached to the other shoulder and has now pulled Ghost Cleaver out and kind of sliding it into his hands where Geritha was just moments before. He's going to step forward whenever there's an opening and swing kind of logger style, across this way once and then across this way, diagonal the other way. Still attacking recklessly. That's going to be a 28. And
Yeah.
29. Okay.
Most definitely.
Not raging, so 8 on the first one, and this is magical slashing. And the second's going to be 11 points of magical slashing.
So 19 total points.
19.
At this point, as you're hitting it, your blows are almost knocking it side to side, as it can barely stand its ground against your attacks. It does this thing where, if you've ever seen a dog where it adjusts its grip on a bone, where the key sort of slips in its jaws a little bit, and it just sort of and tries to firm up its grip as we move on to Gerithan.
Alrighty, here. Do we want to unleash another torrent of attacks? Probably a pretty safe bet.
Please tell me Gerithan is just talking to himself like this in the middle of battle.
This is his inner dialogue. He's just like, do we want to do that? I mean,
He uses the royal we.
we're good at it. We know this. It's something we're good at. But is it what we want? Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, I'm gonna make 4 attacks at the thing in a whirling fashion. First one's gonna be a 16.
That one is going to miss.
A natural 20. How about it?
Yep.
I think that one's that's gonna be a hit. Whoa, hold on a second. What am I looking at here? Oh, that's cool. It automatically doubles the dice roll after you roll a crit on the D&D Beyond dice roller.
Double check the math because my crits are automatic
your
max
crits
damage and then roll the damage dice.
So that's gonna be I don't know math. I rolled a 4, so 9 plus 4, 13 on that attack.
13 on
damage. 13 damage for my crit.
What about the first hit? You didn't give me damage for that.
I thought you said it was a miss.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, yeah, I'll roll damage for that.
Nope.
No, you said you want it.
13 on the crit. You got 2 more attacks left.
13 on the crit. I am going to add a die roll to that as I enhance the attack with psionics. So it takes another 2 points from that one. And then 2 more attacks. 9 is a miss. 22.
22 will hit.
Oh, cool. Minimum damage. Another hot 4 points of, and it is hot. These are Hellfire Scimitars. Let's not forget.
Gerithan, how do you finish it off?
Oh, after this, pretty good. I got a good strike in there with this in this last torrent. It's this hellish glow kind of surrounds me, and it is cast on my nearby allies as I just cut into this thing, slashing it until all that remains is rubble.
Rubble followed by the metallic sound of a piece of the dragon key skittering across the floor. And
Oh, as it skitters across the floor, I reach out and scoop it up and
so
pull it
you
toward
see,
me.
Drown, you see this thing skitter across the floor towards you, looking as if it's about to just sort of slide to a halt at your feet, when it suddenly reverses direction and goes flying into Gerithan's hand. And I gotta remember to put this in the Discord as well for people like we did last time. That is not what I wanted to do. I am going to send you in our chat the image of this particular key. Oops. But I will put that in the Discord later. But this is the key shard that you have found. And it has a couple of indentations on it, much like the other piece. You are out of combat. You have defeated the pedestal gargoyle.
Everyone all right?
Yes, but I'm really tired of everything in this place.
That thing hit hard for a pedestal.
Monsters.
Well, I mean, considering its history, it's not too surprising that everything's going to have a bite to it.
Oh, I got you there.
Right. Well, that's a second fragment of the key then.
Second
Two
to
of the
down.
four.
I.
So cousin, should we make it a point that if it's got a mouth, let's not reach for it?
Fine.
You should be lucky I did what I did, or you probably wouldn't have a hint.
Yeah, at least our friend can move things with his mind.
Oh, that was you.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. He kind of looks at his hands and kind of
Deflate a little bit.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, got them all.
Gerithan winks.
All right.
So, were there
Was
other
out there
doors in here?
Yes, that.
This outsider's handy
Sorry.
to have around.
In the room?
Sorry. A couple of people are talking over each other. I'm assuming you're asking if there's anything else in the room.
Yes.
There is not.
No door?
No door. This was a dead-end room as well.
Back to the hub.
Turning back around into the hub. I'm gonna check something here. Let me go to studio mode.
You gotta go through all of this work to get keys. This guy must not want guests.
Or he doesn't want people getting into things.
I don't think he did this. I think someone else sealed the doors or tomb or whatever this central sanctum is, and then sundered and hid the pieces of the key, so it would be difficult to open.
So you don't think he has access to it?
I think he is a vampire and has his own ways to get in and out, and so the sealing of the door does the sealed door does not inhibit him.
So this, to give you guys some perspective, this is the first map of the catacombs you're seeing. This illuminated area in here is where you fought the Girlons and the Hags. You headed off this way up to here where you found the key hole in the wall. You went back down through here, went through this hall. This series of rubble-filled rooms is where you ultimately, in this area here, where you encountered the mimics. You went up here, through into this room, down here into the fountain. You came out and you went over here to the double doors and you just fought the animated pedestal to get the key. The remaining doors are this single door here, these 3 crypts in the room, and then this single door up here to the north. So right now you guys are sort of in this room. You just headed back into the hub here.
I didn't realize we had left crypts behind us that weren't open yet.
Yes, there was. This room had a lot of doors in it. That's why I wanted to. I figured it was time to show you the map. This door you haven't looked at yet, and then over here are the 3 crypts. This one you can see a door on it, and you, thanks to Monty DL and a resub there, you get another domain die in your pool. All right, what would you like to do?
Or crypts.
I'll check the crypts. At least look at them.
All right. You can see from the outside that these crypts are each about 10 feet square. The one nearest the arrow here has a door facing to the south. A quick walk around and you can see the other 2 have doors on the north side. Which one would you like to check first?
Center.
All right. It has a stone door that's much simpler than the other doors that you've been encountering so far. And it opens easily if you try to open it. And you see in this room an empty chamber, except for some now familiar looking arcane runes carved into the floor and the wall.
Is there any sign that a hammer might have smashed into the inside of the door?
With Cantriel's ridiculous perception, she kind of looks around, and opposite where you're standing, Cantriel, there is indeed an indentation in the wall and some crumbled bits of stone on the floor, and it looks like a fresh break. Before. This does appear to be the other side of the teleportation alcove you found in the other room.
Interesting. It didn't go very far.
Clearly not, but geez. That's sort of impressive. Do we want to do something with this portal?
Now that we know where they both go, I don't think it's that much to worry about. Unless they connect to others.
Thorgarn, throw it again.
You wanna? Sure, why not? If I throw Forge Fane again, call it back.
I look at the other alcove.
It's several rooms away from you, but Cantriel, as you're sort of with your keen ears, you listen carefully, and somewhere off in the distance you hear the sound of wood breaking. And when Forge Fane comes back to you, Thorgarn, there's a few splinters of wood on it. It's a pretty good guess that you just threw it through part of the barricade you built in the other room.
Okay, yeah, they're attached.
At least we know where they connect.
Rather odd, but I guess if you want to get someplace faster-ish.
I mean, that other room isn't terribly far away, right, Jake?
It's literally here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Maybe if they quickly needed a place to hide.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had an instant teleport to like my bedroom or the bathroom, they're not that far away, but I would still use it.
That is fair enough.
But truthfully, before you would have a mead fountain, I mean...
Did you say mead fountain or meat fountain? Doesn't matter. I'm in.
I hope it was me.
Either way, I'm in.
Touching the...
I don't want to think about that for me.
Meat mountain. Or meat fountain.
Meat mountain.
Why not both?
Okay, so Cantriel, are you checking these other two then?
Yes, I will check the other two.
Left or right?
Sinister. Left.
So you see another similar door on the north side. This room is not empty. It has a single stone sarcophagi standing upright inside it.
I inspect the sarcophagi's lid.
On the lid, you see a carving of a dragonborn female.
All right, this one's all clear, dwarves. Or at least it's not of importance to me.
I'll go inspect it for potential traps, as is Drown's wont.
All right, give me an investigation.
Sure. Oh no. Oh dear. I'm gonna burn a domain die because I don't like ones on looking for traps. I like 19s a lot better, so that's 24.
So you not only think that this is untrapped, you know that it is untrapped.
All right, so we just kind of wave the dwarves over to do their thing.
I like that. Cantriel's making sure it looks not like the one she wants. Drown makes sure it's safe to open, and then the dwarves crack the safe. There's a regular Italian job here.
So I'm gonna push this one open with Faithkeeper, not in my hands.
I imagine there's this little bit of a tentative tunk, 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 and it does not stick.
Yeah.
This one is, as I said, it's upright, so it kind of opens more. It's like that couple floors up on the spire where you found the entire hallway lined with upright sarcophagi. You are able to open this one, and inside you see, sort of piled at the bottom, the dusty broken bones of the former inhabitant, and amidst those remnants you find a total of 150 platinum pieces, and you find 3 blood red gemstones that are worth 1,000 gold each.
I think Talmud just kind of looks at Thorgarn and he's like,
That's quite some pretty stones.
Hi. Look at the cut on these. He kind of like holds one up to like the light.
And I imagine Cantriel's already checking the other one at this point. And you find it in similar fashion, an upright sarcophagi, this one with a dragonborn male carved into the surface.
Now, do you think this one's okay for them too?
This is not the one you're looking for?
No, it needs to look like an elf. A certain elf.
Are you sure? Didn't your mother say that he used illusions to hide his form?
What, you're saying it makes it look more like a dragon then?
I don't know. My understanding is that your father was not at least full-blooded elf, and that he used magic to make himself appear different, or to even physically change his form, but that was not his true form. Perhaps I misunderstood.
I just kept thinking it was my father. Are there any inscriptions?
The only inscription that is there is written in Draconic, and it is a name that does not have a common translation. There's nothing familiar about it.
Still seems okay to me.
Okay, then I'll spend some time checking it out.
All right, another investigation check.
Another good roll. 18, 22 total.
You are also positive that this one contains no traps.
Looks clear. Desecrate away.
Open it up, same way.
Thorgarn, as you open this one up, you again see the dusty bones, and you see a smattering of platinum pieces and 3 more of these valuable bloodstone rubies. Something falls as you open the door and falls towards you. Make a dexterity check just to see if you can catch it or if you get hit by it.
Both of us, or just Thorgarn?
You can take a grab at it too if
As a check or a saving throw?
it's just check.
Doesn't matter, same thing. 17.
Talmud, you sort of start to reach for it, but Thorgarn quickly reacts and grabs this 6-foot-long spear that falls and almost hits you. You grab hold of it, and you see that the end of the spear has a look like sharpened bone, but that the bone looks as if it were freshly cleaned. The wood of this spear looks untarnished by time.
So is this a bone-tipped spear?
Yep. Mechanically, as far as you know, right now, it's a spear.
Is there any other markings on it, or is it just the,
Nope, that's it.
This, looks interesting.
Aye, the tip doesn't look at all aged or damaged or anything.
Anybody here use a spear?
I potentially can.
What?
I mean, sure, I'll grab a hold of it. Does it seem special in any way, or just...
The fact that it's untouched by time tells you that there could be something special about it.
All right, well, I will stow it for now, unless anyone else has some means to identify it more quickly, but I don't think anyone does. So I'll just kind of tuck it away in one of the side pouches of my pack.
All right. There is one door to the north out of this room, or at least to another room. There is still the one room to the south in the corner between the hallway you came in and the double door room where you got the key.
I think the room to the south kind of like it should be done first based on what we saw at the map. Looks like a small room.
Mm-hmm. So who was taking that?
I will.
This door opens. Inside this room, you find to be 20 feet by 20 feet. In the center of it is a large, another large sarcophagi. You can see that there is a carving of an elven man on the lid of this sarcophagus.
He's kind of like peering at it from the door. Cantriel,
Yes.
you might want to come look at this one. It looks
She'll go
elven.
right up. Why? What?
It looks elven and it's male, so I figured you'd better take a look first.
Thank you. So yes, taking a very careful look at it.
This one is indeed an elven male, and the name that is engraved on this sarcophagus is Gerithan Travail, a name that is unfamiliar to you.
Nope, not him.
If it helps speed anything up, Jake, my passive investigation is 15, but I will check out the sarcophagus again.
All right. I mean, it's pretty much the last thing to look at in this area, so you might as well make a roll for it.
Sure. Dirty 20. Dang. Those are doing good to me tonight.
This sarcophagus does appear to be trapped. You can see a slight lift in the edges of the seams, and you can see that there are some kind of stone pins that will be released if the lid is moved.
Got it. So it looks like it'll release pins. Can I tell, are there any mechanisms around it, or it might be something inside the sarcophagus?
With that check, you look around using your experience from recent sarcophagi traps, and
check the ceiling.
You do not see any indication that it would trigger any kind of rocks falling or anything like that. Nothing that you can visibly see connects to an external source.
All right. This one is trapped. If you open it, it will release some pins there. I can't tell what it's going to do. Probably something from inside. More poison gas, perhaps an explosion, darts.
Talmud kind of looks down at his own hand and then says, Gerithan, you have the thing where you can move stuff without touching it, aye?
That's right.
These lids are like big stone carved things.
Yep. Yeah.
So heavier than 10 pounds is what I'm getting off of that.
Absolutely.
Talmud has no clue.
I do have a thing. I could move it with my mind, but it would kind of take a little out of me.
Well,
if you think it's necessary.
How much of a crack is there to the lid? Like, how much spacing is in the lid?
We're talking maybe at most a little over 1/8 of an inch.
Okay, so Mom can't go in and look to see.
So, I mean, we could all back up and I could just throw Forge Paint at the lid until it cracks.
I like, ba-doom. For some reason, it's the imagery of that.
Would there be a way or anything on like the carving of the relief or the corners to be able to like tie a rope onto?
Yeah, does it have like giant statue ears jutting off that we could grapple onto?
Sure, like the palm of
I mean, the carving on the lid is basically like a bas relief, so there's not a lot that's going to give you a hold for a rope. There's some determined grave robbers.
Liberators, Jacob. Treasure liberators.
Treasure liberators. I kind of like that.
We're sanctifying these cursed remains.
Sanctifying the crap out of them.
See, if we didn't have Dawnbringers yet, we could be the Crypt Raiders.
So,
Of course.
what are we thinking? Are we using a lot of rope and trying to pull, or throw a hammer from across it?
I can't find anything to attach it to.
There's nothing to tie a rope to.
No. So, Talmud will kind of back up.
So, yeah, Thorgarn will kind of give Forge Paint a bit of heft, put a Faithkeeper to the side, 2-hand. Want an attack roll or just straight up damage?
Were you throwing it at the sarcophagus, or?
Yes.
Yeah, just roll damage. I mean, if your intent is to just keep flinging it until you break it open, then I'm not even gonna have you roll damage. I mean, then you're gonna just keep rolling until you do it. So,
First roll would have been 17.
So it's basically gonna take you a couple tries, and you figure out that aiming at the corner is the best bet. And after about the third try, a big chunk of stone breaks off of the corner, and as the Forge Fane is returning to your hand, there's this static burst of electricity that shoots up. You get a little bit of that tingle as you grab hold of Forge Fane, but not enough to do you any damage.
Nice.
So that was only the portion of that trap? Do we think that the whole thing has been activated, or?
I would imagine that the trap has been sprung. Unless it has some means to immediately reset itself, it should be safe.
Good enough for me. Talmud's going to turn and kind of march into the room and push this lid off.
All right. As you slide, what's kind of getting a better grip on it where the broken corner is, you slide the lid and you hear this ping, ping as it slips off of the other pins, but nothing happens. The trap has indeed been triggered. Inside are the bones of the elven occupant. You can see the rotted, what was probably once finery, very fine robes. There's almost like a at first it almost looks like somebody just threw a bunch of sewing thread into this sarcophagus amidst the bones, and you realize that whatever robes this individual was wearing, they were sewn with golden thread. And the gold thread is all that remains of those garments. You also see clasped in the skeletal fingers what looks like a metal rod of about maybe a foot to a foot and a half in length. This rod has a slightly octagonal shape to it rather than a perfect cylinder, and on either end of it, it looks like the upper from the chest forward of a horse is cast in iron, in metal. There's basically a horse at either end of this object, and it basically looks like, I'm going old school, I got the books out tonight. It basically looks like that one. So you can probably notice the words, because I know Dan already figured out what it was by the description. As you get a hint of this.
You used the DMG art.
I did.
Talmud's going to reach in and kind of gently pick that up. I think we can save this for Fig, maybe?
Sure.
You get a hint of the potential of this thing when it doesn't lift out of the fingers of this skeleton right away. It seems to almost be stuck in space. And you begin to pull a little harder on it, and it's not moving.
Try pushing the fingers together.
Quite a grip. Fingers? Like,
Push in, don't pull out.
Talmud will try.
Has he never seen a gnomish finger trap?
That you could try. You try pushing the rearranging the hands. In fact, you move the hands of the skeleton off of the rod, and you see that this rod is not touching anything, and it is completely frozen in place inside the sarcophagus.
I think this rod drank some of that mead.
Something you guys can't grave rob, eh?
just because it's got a head doesn't mean it can drink.
Looking closer at it, Talmud, now that you move the hands, you can see that on one end of it, there does appear to be a button carved into it.
What does this do? He's going to press it.
And as you press it, the rod comes loose into your hands.
Figured it out. He kind of like holds it up triumphantly.
Talmud,
Side note.
I totally saw that as, he's pulling on it, shaking it a different way, and eventually, like, he's got his full weight leaning on it as he looks around and sees the side, hits the button, totally falls over.
What were you going to say, Dan?
Side note, previous campaign, we had a cleric of Cord, the god of strength, who had an immovable rod that he used for his morning workouts.
That would be awesome.
It was amazing.
That is incredible. I love that.
We had
Instant pull-up bar, and he eventually got strong enough that if he rolled well, he could move it and like do a couple of reps.
So
we had a rogue who used 2 of them as a ladder to like get in and out of places.
So this item does not require attunement, and in the process of removing it, you figured out what it does. You do in fact have an immovable rod in your possession now. We are going to go ahead and take a break because we're like 30 minutes over 30 minutes over when we normally would take a break. And I'm going to give you a chance to get out of this room and into another room. So we're going to go ahead, everybody. We're going to take a brief break. I'm not going to run the timer because I'm afraid it's going to put extra strain. One thing, this is really important. First, I'm gonna throw this in there in case anybody does want to support the channel or follow me in all the other places. I've added my Patreon and Ko-Fi because my gosh, do I need a PC upgrade really badly to get past all this stuff. But anyway, I realized that being distracted by the PC problems, I neglected to make one of our most important announcements. And so I want to make sure that we do that now. I even have a visual aid this time as I received this from Jasper's Game Day recently. These are available from Jasper's Game Day. They're their new pin design of their logo they've used for a long time. I believe this was designed by Julie Madalena, an awesome artist that has partnered with Jasper's, but it says you are not a critical failure, and then it's got a little JGD for Jasper's Game Day. Jeremy has thrown the help signal in the chat. I do this before every stream, so I feel bad that I forgot to do it at the beginning, but we're doing it now before we go to break. We just want you to know that you matter. As the pin says, you are not a critical failure. No matter what you think, you make a difference. Your presence in this world makes a difference. But it can be tough. That's why you can come here to Mini Terrain Domain any time of day or night, whether we are broadcasting or not. Type !help in the chat, and the phone numbers and text numbers and website link that you see there will come up. It's absolutely imperative, if you need somebody to talk to, that you reach out to one of those resources. Here in the United States, you can reach out to the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or you can text 741-741. There are also numbers there and text numbers for our Canadian friends, and a hyperlink that is for our friends from around the world. If you head over there, you will see phone numbers and text numbers for every country in the world that has those services available. So please do use those if you need them, and know that you make a difference. With that, we are going to dip into a 5 to 10 minute break, and we'll be back with some more Dungeons and Dragons in just a few moments. See you on the other side. And we're back. As we jump back into the exploration, you have just discovered an immovable rod. And I almost said Rob. I don't know who that is. He's just a really stubborn guy. Immovable Rob. Nobody likes him.
I've met immovable Rob. It's just, yeah, you don't want that.
You found an immovable rod. And there is one door to the north that remains that has yet to be explored. How would you like to proceed?
Was it usual then?
As Talmud strides over there and opens up this door. This door opens into a 10-foot wide, 30-foot long hall that cuts to the right. Does everybody begin heading down this hallway?
Wow, that was a loaded question. This was the only other place we haven't been. So Talmud kind of open the door, kind of look back. Well, it looks like it leads to somewhere. It's not just another room.
You, even stepping a little ways in and looking around the bend, you see that it curves and curves back to the north and goes for quite a ways, probably another 60 or 70 feet before making a couple little jogs. And if you were to peer around there, Drown, with your superior dark vision, you can see close. Once you look around that second corner, you can see about another 80 feet ahead that there is another stone door set into the wall. This hallway, while it does make a couple of turns, it does basically maintain the 10-foot width. Less than ideal, but this is the hallway as you look at my screen. Pretty standard as far as corridors go. At least that's what it looks like.
Just report to everyone. The hallway continues and there is another door.
There's a shocker. Let's go.
I need to go through this module and count how many doors.
Cantriel's going to the forest after this, and she's going to be like running through it saying, "No more doors!"
I'm just saying, Jake, if I ever run a one-shot for you, I know the adventure I'm running.
Oh, that had just not so subtle undernotes of revenge in it, so... My character will be a barbarian dwarf named something Door Smasher. All right. How would you like to proceed through this hallway?
Standard dwarves in front formation.
Works for me.
All right. How are you moving through the hallway? Are you moving quietly? Are you moving recklessly?
Yeah, I'm just walking normal.
All right.
Not expecting anything bad to happen whatsoever.
All right. Talmud, Thorgarn. So we've got dwarves in front. Who's in the rear? I think Cantriel, you've been bringing up the rear, haven't you? I'm not saying you're doing that this time, but...
Normally, I'll stay in the back so I can do distant shots. Yeah.
So,
Drown will probably stay in the way back since I can shoot over you. You probably can't shoot over me as well.
so that leaves Gerithan and Griveth.
An odd totem.
Gerithan and Griveth, sort of in the midst. Then,
The way I like it.
Which of you two would be directly behind the dwarves? Griveth. So Talmud, Thorgarn, and Griveth, go ahead and give me perception checks as you're moving along through this hall.
That is a 19.
That's incredible.
16 for me.
I mean, it's an okay roll, but for Thorgarn, it's incredible. 16 for Griveth.
I got an equally incredible 8.
No, that's the typical dwarf answer for a perception.
So we got a 19, a 16, and an 8. All right. So as you're moving along and you get partway through this hall, you're probably about approaching 2/3 of the way through this hall. You hear something. Cantriel, you hear it and realize what it is just a moment too late. As you realize it's coming from ahead of you, it's the sound of a door opening just a little bit. And then the next sound that you hear is, it sounds like a pebble bouncing off the walls and floor of the corridor. Because you failed your perception check, you will not get advantage on this. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw as the hallway explodes in a burst of fire.
19 wasn't good enough?
The stealth check was a 20.
Sure. No, just verifying.
Nope. It missed it by 1.
I had an 18 on the die. I wasn't going to get all that much better.
What's the range of Griveth's aura? Is it just 10 feet?
Yeah, 10 feet.
I'm gonna need to use a domain die to erase this natural 1.
Ooh. All right. So Griveth was before or after Gerithan?
Griveth was before Gerithan.
All right. So I'm out of his aura.
So
Thorgarn.
Talmud, Thorgarn, Gerithan.
Talmud, Thorgarn, Griveth, Gerithan, Cantriel, Drown.
So everybody but Drown is in the Paladin aura.
Sounds like it. I would say, but Drown and Talmud, actually, if Talmud's leading. The front and the back are going to be, because Griveth is Talmud,
I
Thorgarn.
guess if we're not just in single file, then because Griveth hits the 2 in front and the 2 behind. If we're all in line.
Okay, so that would be Gerithan, Thorgarn, and that would be Cantriel and Drown. No. Okay. Sorry, I'm mixing up Gerithan and Griveth.
Right.
Got ya. You're.
Yep.
I don't know why I bothered arguing with that.
He's
You were
toward
right
the
to
front.
begin with.
That's all right. But I got a 17.
I also have a 17.
21 here.
21.
Damn, y'all.
While I appreciate the valiant effort, I got a 9 total. With
Ooh, and I did use a
using
domain die too.
Okay,
I also used a domain die.
so we're down 2. That takes us to 109. Let me fix this.
I believe Zach used one as well, right?
I did get his.
Okay, good.
Okay.
There's 3 in total.
We're back here at 109. Cantriel, what was your save?
21.
And did anybody get under a 15 besides Talmud? So Talmud will be taking the full fireball damage. Which I think I have enough D6s actually here. That's 4, 6. I do. So that's going to be 6, 10, 12, 13, 18, 22 points of fire damage, Talmud. And 11 points to everybody else as you manage to sort of dive in different directions. This basically, Talmud, you hear this clattering sound, and as you become aware of it, you look down at your feet and you see what looks like maybe a 1/4-inch round red bead roll to a stop before it explodes in your face, and you take all this fire damage, and this entire hallway just erupts in flame as it, and you're all kind of shielding yourself and diving away. You hear stone ricocheting off of Griveth's shield, and some stone is starting to fall from the ceiling just a little bit, just sort of. What would you like to do? This whole place is full of smoke, the smell of burned hair.
Seeing that Talmud kind of took the brunt of that, Gerithan will, as a reaction, try and use his psionic energy to push some of the fires away and reduce that damage by 5 points.
All right. Gerithan's taking a shine to the dwarf.
Let's double time out of here.
Either that or the dwarf is the one that keeps taking all the damage.
The dwarf's the one that keeps taking all the damage.
Jake, does it look like the ceiling? Yeah. Does it look like the ceiling is unstable?
Looking up at it, you can see that there is a spiderweb network of of cracks, and they are growing
More zombies.
as more. No, it's stone.
Get out.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna
Charge forward.
urge everyone forward.
All right, you quickly move forward
Sputtering.
to where there is where there's this closed door, and you reach the door, open it up, and immediately find yourself in a room that is 30 feet by 30 feet. There is a large opening ahead of you about 5 feet, but to your left. The room itself, bear with me as I moved to my phone for this. The room that you are in, you see this room has half-finished sarcophagi all over it. It almost looks like somebody may have picked them up and thrown them around the room. Some are cracked, others are smashed. You see the bodies of 3 humanoids, the stone coffins once sheltered, lying here and there, mostly rotted to the bone. There's a scattering of coins and gems, maybe some jewelry. But there are also 5 skeletal creatures in this room, but they're not just skeletons. They've got visible organs and long, curly, bitey teeth. And as you burst through the door and come charging into the room, we're going to go ahead and roll initiative, but they are going to get an ambush attack on you. Because they knew you were coming and they were ready for it.
I think I have something.
What if I can't be surprised? I'll alert feet.
All right, yeah, then we'll handle that in the first round. You'll get to act as normal. I have these creatures.
I have something called Feral Instinct. If I'm surprised at the beginning of combat, but I'm not incapacitated, I can act normally on my first turn if I enter a rage before doing anything else.
Okay. So this time I have to go to paper because morgues are not in the book or in the D&D Beyond, and I didn't add them. Griveth, what you got?
I got a 12.
Drown.
Drown has an 18.
Cantriel.
13.
Gerithan.
9.
Thorgarn.
11.
Talmud.
Also a 12.
All right, and then I need to roll for. All right. So in this first round, Talmud, if he rages, will get to go, and Gerithan will get to go as per normal. But the Morgs will take a single action first. The actual order is going to be Drown. Thorgarn, I'm sorry, you had a 13?
11.
Oh, sorry, 11. Zach, I made a 3, or a number that looks somewhere like Dwight's 3s. Dwight's 3s look like they're 1s impersonating a 3. Let's see, so we got Drown, followed by Cantriel, followed by Griveth. What's your dex bonus?
1.
Talmud? 2. Talmud, you will go 3rd, Griveth 4th, Thorgarn 5th, Gerithan 6th, and the Morgs will go last in the normal order. So in this first round, it's going to go Talmud. If you choose to go right into a rage, you'll be able to act as per normal.
Having faced these things once already, and knowing that they are not a joke, he is going to start glowing with his tattoos, and drawing Ghost Cleaver, he is then going to charge in and attack these things.
All right.
Whichever one is the nearest to him.
Sure.
He readies his great axe and swings it around recklessly for a 19 to hit.
Yep. That is going to hit.
Excellent. And then a dirty 20. So the first of which will be 14 points magical slashing. The second, there we go, 21 points magical slashing.
Nice. 21 total or 21 on the second one?
21 on the second one straight up.
So 35 on that opening attack. So as Thorgarn goes into this rage and just goes swinging with Ghost Cleaver into these things, Gerithan, you're... What?
Talmud, not Thorgarn.
Talmud. Jeez.
Thanks, Dad.
D&D dad here. Gerithan,
Literally for me.
you've never seen these creatures before. No, I take that back. Fig had one of those fugue states while you were engaged in the room that had one of these in it. So you have seen one of these through Fig's eyes. So you see one of these things, rather you see 5 of these things. You know what they're capable of.
Can you remind Zach what they're capable of?
They have a very long tentacle-like tongue that has teeth at the end of it.
Oh, cool. I remembered that.
Jeremy, you need to be sharing those jokes in the Twitch chat. So Gerithan, there are 5 of them. Talmud has laid into one of them pretty good.
I'm gonna pick one that Talon is not laid into, and I'm going to kind of channel the energy in my my golden circlet as the red gem on my forehead kind of flares up, and a ray of fire shoots out at one of them. as I cast Scorching Ray.
All right.
Go ahead and roll those attacks. The first ray. Oof. Well, I'm going to re-roll that one. Use a domain die. A little better. 13.
13 is a hit.
Cool. Second one, higher. And then the third, oof, a 9.
Third one's going to miss.
All right. So it's going to take from the first ray 8 points of fire, and then an additional 11 for 19 points of fire damage.
All right.
And then I'm going to action search and run up on it and unleash the torrent.
All right.
Okay.
That's
Do I remember-
that's Gerithan's hacker name, the Torrent.
The torrent. Do I remember, or did I glean from my vision, if these things were tough or if they were just deadly?
You basically were seeing through somebody's eyes and disoriented. You gleaned that they were what you see.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, I will run up on the one that I just scorched and start making some attacks. The first one's going to be a 10.
That'll be a miss.
Second one's going to be a 12.
It's a hit.
Hey, found the magic number. Third one's going to be a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I waited.
Oh
I'm at a dirty 20.
So three of the four are hits.
And the first of those hits, I will psionically charge. So that one is going to deal 5 plus 6. Oh man, I'm down to a D4 now.
So what was the damage?
That attack, the first attack did 11, and then the second attack did 7, so 18 total. And then the last attack did another 7, so 25 total of those scimitar attacks.
All right.
And that's my turn.
Excellent. So then there's the one of them that's standing there. You all can kind of see, except for, well, I guess Talmud and Gerithan, you're kind of right up on these things. You'd see it as well. One of them is scrambling to add its necklace that it wears. It's wearing this necklace around its neck, and you see several red beads, and it already has one in its hand as it was waiting for you all to come in. And it throws it near the door, and I need everybody to make another dexterity saving throw as it throws another fireball bead at the floor.
I saw this one coming, though, right?
You did.
Okay.
And actually, because of the close proximity, these guys are going to need to make dex saves as well. Save, fail. 2 of them save, 3 of them failed.
Quick reminder, where did that bead come from? Was it from one of the morgues or from someone else?
From one of the morgues.
Okay.
Okay. That's gonna be 8, 13, 16, 17, 20, 22 points again of fire damage to anybody that got under a 15.
Am I out of the Griveth bonus range at this point?
You and Talmud are out of the Griveth bonus.
It'll be a fail then. I did take my turn though, so do I have my reaction again?
Yeah, because you took your turn.
Yeah.
Everybody who got a 15 or higher will take 11 points of fire damage.
Yep, Drown eats the whole thing right in his face.
Can you say the number again?
22 for full, 11 for half.
22 for full. Take 6 less of that.
Which also means that the 2 that you guys have attacked are also getting hit. Along with one other one, so that's... Okay. So 3 of them have been burned. And... Okay. So with that, we'll go to the top of the order with... Wow, my handwriting is terrible. Drown, your name looks like Pam on my sheet. So it's going to be your turn, Pam. We've got Pam, the immovable Rob.
All right. Well, Pam takes off her shirt and horrible shit tattooed across her back and wrapped knuckles and starts punching things today. All right. Archer reference. Okay. Do I have a relatively clear line to these things? We were pretty cramped, as I recall.
Yeah, I mean, you can... We've established that these are 5-foot wide doors. And you're able to kind of shove past your allies and get into the space.
Okay. Are the morgues right up there or what?
They were sort of near the edge of the room. They're basically on the opposite side of the room.
Wait. Okay, this is back around at the top of the order. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good. All right, then Drown will move in as best he can and push over to the side, depending on how much speed he has left and how much
left or right.
Push through. He will push to the left.
As you push to the left, you see that there's this big, almost 5-foot wide opening leading somewhere else. And
like a tunnel?
Well, at first, yeah, as you glance at it and you sort of do a double take, as you realize it opens up into a chasm.
Like a drop?
Like if you were to take about 3 steps to the left, you would fall into darkness.
Right. He will scooch back, so he's not right next to that. And we have some damaged morgues because people are up wailing on them.
Yep. And 3 of them got hit by the fireball.
Right. So I will pick one of the ones that the closest one that my allies have been damaging that also got hit by a fireball.
Okay.
How far away is it from me?
So you basically moved sort of just to the edge of where that opening to the chasm was.
Yeah.
I'd say he's within 15 feet of you.
Okay. Then I will lash with some Eldritch Blasts at him. Let's see, there's a lowish roll, but that's still a huge bonus. So 17.
Yep.
All right, so that'll be 3 more hits.
Your target is 12 on these.
My target is 12. Good. 15, 25. 31 points of force damage, and one of the blasts will solidify into a tentacle and drag it 10 feet towards me.
Okay.
10 feet closer to that hole.
Sure. Okay. Cantriel.
Hey, Mom. See the one that was throwing the fun little round explodey thingies? Go get that one. So I'm going to send Mom after the one who keeps throwing the goddamn fireballs. And hopefully start to do some necrotic damage. Okay, well, I am hoping that a dirty 20 hits.
It does indeed.
Lovely. Okay, so then that is going to be 10 necrotic damage. And that is 3 from its strength.
All right, it takes the damage, and 3 from its strength knocks it down. That's gonna... Wow, that's gonna take a couple off of its bonus.
Sweet. And I'm gonna keep shooting at it. And ooh, hi. That's a very pretty 20.
All right. Cantriel rolls, rolls a crit.
Okay, so then dip it. Oh, this is the mathing time, isn't it then? So hang on just a second here. So then that is all right, 14 plus 11, so it's 25 for the first.
All right.
And then 27 hits, yes.
Yep.
So then that is 12 for the second strike.
And you guys can put some damage out. All right. Is that your turn?
I think I still have that bonus action.
You do,
'cause,
actually.
Yeah, so Talmud, dear, I think we need to start smashing some things. And she gives him Bardic Inspiration.
And Talmud, dear, it's your turn.
On it. He's going to round. I don't know which one he was facing currently, but he's definitely going towards the one wearing the jewelry. Now that he has taken 2 full-forced fireballs in the face.
So you will draw an opportunity attack from the one you were engaged with.
Raging, don't care.
Okay. It's going to lash out at you with its tongue.
That sounds horrifying. Please go ahead.
Right. That's jacked. That is a 17 to hit.
That's the number. That's it.
That you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's a horrific start. I'm going to spin a domain die. Because I don't want to look at that number. That's better. Con save is a 17.
You...
This is killing me.
Sorry. That's 8, 10, 13, 14. You'll take 7 points of necrotic damage, but the tongue cannot hold on to you as you pull away from it. And now you are free to attack the other one that Cantriel and her mom have laid into.
You said it was 8 or 9 damage? Sorry.
Yeah. 8.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't remember what I said. I'll say 8.
I had that image of a tongue.
Kind of distracts you a bit.
You little.
The tongue almost bit you, or the tongue did bite you.
Horrifying. Okay. So yeah, he kind of moves away from this one that he had been targeting because he's sick of this one throwing beads at him, and he brings Ghost Cleaver around, and he's going to attack him once again recklessly. Man, come on. 19.
That's a hit.
That one's a 26, so 2 hits.
And you do have inspiration.
Inspiration?
You were inspired by...
Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah,
yes.
sorry. You have Bardic Inspiration.
I keep forgetting that I can put her...
D8, baby!
Okay, so that is a 20, and I'll go ahead and throw it on this first one here. 25 points of magical slashing. Thank you. And then the second will be 10 points.
All right. You got a couple of these things that you guys have put a serious hurting on. All right, is that your turn?
It is, yes.
Then Griveth, you are up.
All right. Were there 3 of these things?
There were 5.
5 of these things. Okay. Oh, I missed that. All right. So we got 2. We got 2 that they're engaged with, pretty much, right?
Thorgarn's engaged with 1. Drown is engaged with 1. Cantriel's mom and Talmud are engaged with 1. Wait, Gerithan ran up on 1. Thorgarn, you didn't run up on 1, did you?
So we're doing the
That-
smart
that
thing
was
and attacking
Gerithan.
all of them separately, right?
I haven't had a turn yet. So.
Yeah, there's 1 that hasn't been hit by anybody yet.
Okay.
So remember that I pulled one of them that was already engaged toward me, not quite to me, but close. Whoever
Yeah.
was still fighting it should still be able to reach it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm calling on Eldath. We're going to turn the tides of this battle. I'm calling down the power of Eldath to censor these creatures, drive them from us. So I'm doing the flash dance, the Eldath flash dance of turning. So yeah, I'm turning the undead. They have to move away from me for a whole minute.
So wisdom save on there, isn't there?
Yeah, and my wisdom save is, oh darn it, 15. Sorry.
Oops. All right. So the one engaged with Drown gets a natural 1. The other one gets a 14. Another natural 1. The one that hasn't been hit by anybody succeeds. And the one with the fireballs fails. So 4 of the 5 have been turned.
All right, cool. So they can't do anything but run away.
All right. It is Thorgarn's turn.
So, do I see that the fight leave their eyes? Does it look like they've?
You guys have seen Griveth do this before, and I would say you know what he's done, and you can tell that it was successful on all but one of them.
All right. Well, then I will charge on that one.
I mean, plus you're a cleric, you can do that too.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of a cleric. I'm not.
Okay.
All right. I got a 12. I'm guessing misses, and then
Nope. 12 is your target.
oh, gee. Okay. Well, then everything hits. Going after the one that's not turned, and proceed to smush. Of course, that went to the wrong spot. For a total of 28 points of magical bludgeoning damage.
All right. That will then take us to Gerithan.
Oh yeah. We're gonna do some stuff. Was the one I was engaged with turned then?
Yeah, it hasn't had a chance to act on that yet.
That's right. If I remember well, I guess I will have my reaction when it does act on that. Or I could kill it now and it wouldn't be a problem. And that's I think a pretty good idea.
Yeah, remember, if you damage it, it will no
Yeah.
longer be turned. So just FYI.
Yeah, that's what's weighing on my mind. As I have my inner dialogue before I take my turn.
And they like to tongue.
Here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to spend just a split second kind of regaining my mental energy as I kind of just take a breath, focus, and restore my psionic talent die to its starting size as a bonus action. So I'm back up to a D10 on that. then I think we're going to deal out the hurt. That seems like the thing to do. Although, especially because this thing is turned, there's one that wasn't turned. Can I move to that one?
Yes.
I will do that then. Seeing the magical fear in this creature, just be like, oh, that's not a problem then. And instead, bring the torrent over to this guy. All right, let's roll some attacks. We're going to start off with a crit.
Okay.
We're going to follow it up with a 9. And then we're going to top it off with a dirty 20. So that's going to be 2 hits.
That's fair. On every turn, you've missed at least one of your multiple attacks.
So the damage on that, so the crit, I'll psionically charge as well. So, oh, cool. 1 additional point. On top of D6 plus 9, 13. So it's going to take 14 from the first hit. And then on the second hit, 8 more. So 22 points.
All right. It is now these things' turn, and all of them drown. The one that you pulled close to you, you will get an opportunity attack on it as it runs past you.
We'll smack it.
You moved away from that one.
I will hit it with my staff.
All right. Give it a clubbing.
I will give it a clubbing. For the staff. And I'll go ahead and pump an Eldritch Smite into it. I don't remember how much damage that does. D8 force damage. Yeah. That's a lot of damage. So if it lives, it'll be knocked prone. 40 points of damage.
How do you kill this thing with this staff as it turns to run past you?
I'll just sort of, the staff will just kind of swing around, giving a low sort of whooshing through the air, crackling with this greenish energy, and it just explodes into this flash against its face and just crushes it down towards the ground and the pit.
All right. And part of it goes skittering across and slips off the edge into the void. So that one's done. Talmud and Melody, Cantriel's mother, will get opportunity attacks on the one that has the necklace and is also turning to run.
Lady Shadows first.
A Lady Shadow got a 23.
Man, that's a hit.
That mom's striking nicely. So that is 8 necrotic and 2 more points off strength.
That does not drop it. Let's see that put it on. Okay. So Talmud, you have an opportunity attack against it.
I will be taking it. That's a 15.
It is a hit.
Oh yes, 21 points of magical slashing.
Talmud, what does it look like when you kill this one?
So I think Melody's kind of like reaching through these creatures and kind of sapping what unlife kind of is in them, and it kind of staggers a few steps, trying desperately to get away. And Talmud brings up Ghost Cleaver and right down like the right side of its spine, just like cleaving through each of the ribs and whatever passes for like innards of this thing straight down into the pelvis, and it just collapses underneath the weight of the weapon.
as it's collapsing in on itself, you watch as this necklace with 5 remaining beads on it slowly drops towards the floor. But fortunately, it's still around its neck and absorbs the impact as they're not pulled off of the necklace. And it lies in a crumpled heap at your feet. Gerithan, you will get a... Actually, Thorgarn, I think you were engaged with that one as well. So the two of you, the one that wasn't turned is also turning to run. So you each will get an opportunity attack against this one.
Sure. So it's going to be a 27?
Yep.
I think a 26 is also good.
Yeah.
13 from me.
Oof, 4 from me.
All right. So the other 3 morgues, they all turn and run, taking their blows and dodging. And you watch as you're finishing off this first one drown, as the other 3 run past you. And you just all see as they go and leap into the void. And for a moment, you don't hear anything. And then you hear... And then you hear a rustling sound from the depths of this pit. It sounds like in the autumn when the dry leaves are blown through the street. And then you hear rising up from the depths the sound of many, dozens, perhaps hundreds of voices. You are out of combat. You sort of drown, you turn. And as you turn and look and you hear this sound rising up out of this chasm, I imagine the camera kind of pulling away and this dimly lit from the light of Dawnbringer, this little alcove grows more and more distant as it pulls from the camera. And you can make out with your superior dark vision at a distance of, and I want to be accurate on this, I'm not going to guess because it's important. At a distance of 10, 20, 30, 40, about 50 feet or so, the camera passes by this. There's a spike of rock, a needle that rises up from the depths of this chasm, and its top is flat. It's not quite flush with your vantage point, but there is a pedestal on this plateau. It is a normal sized pedestal, but there is a metallic key glinting on this pedestal. And as
How far away did you say it was?
It's about 60 feet. Wait. 50 is what I said. It's 50 feet away. And as we sort of stop with this pedestal and the key visible, you hear those echoing sounds of, and the camera sort of pans down and then zooms in 100 feet down to the bottom, where those 3 morgues are just beginning to pick themselves up. And they are joined by hundreds of zombies and skeletons shuffling along the bottom of this chasm, filling every space on the floor far below. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. All right.
Thank you, Jake.
That was fun. you guys are getting to be some pretty big time damage dealers, where as long as you can keep, it was very helpful that the morgues went last in the order. Thorgarn, you missed that perception check against their stealth by 1 to hear them opening the door to chuck the fireball bead down the hall at you guys. It was that 1. and why would you re-roll a 19? I mean, that's a pretty darn good roll. So,
very little chance of me getting better than an 18 on the die. So certainly not going to be.
And now the only way forward appears to be a 100-foot chasm full of hundreds of undead, with another piece of the skeleton key on a pedestal on a thin spire of rock 50 feet away. So we'll see how that shakes out next week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We had an awesome audience tonight, despite our persistent technical difficulties this entire stream. So an extra special thank you to all of you that joined us tonight and stuck with it. My understanding is the audio has at least been good. So thank you. Thank you to those people who subscribed, resubscribed. I saw that we had a new viewer pop in and drop a handful of bits, so that's always appreciated as well. Contributing, of course, to everybody who contributed to the domain dice total. All of that is so appreciated. I really love that everybody enjoys this game and hangs out with us every week. I do want to tell everybody real quick before we go that since it is now officially September, that seems weird. But given this 2020, that's the least weird thing of this year. We are coming out of our summer season, and there are some scheduling changes. So if you type !" schedule, you will see that some of the new shows have been added on there. Beards and Brushes is going to be airing. It's not going to be airing on Monday, of course, because it is a holiday, but Beards and Brushes will be airing on the rest of the Mondays of this month and the first month Monday of October. And then Beards and Brushes after that will be moving to Friday nights from 7:30 to 9:30. We are going to use that time slot to lead into Alan's Curse of Strahd game that happens at 10 p.m. Eastern on Friday nights, because in the second week of October, All That Glitters will be returning. We'll be having a new DM. We are going to have at least 1, possibly 2 new players. So there's a little bit of a player change. And because they are in the chat with us, I'm going to just go ahead and say that we are very pleased to welcome to All That Glitters, sort of unofficially at this point, but D&D Jordan from Thread Raiders will be joining us in All That Glitters. Dungeon of the Mad Mage is what we are just getting started on. Dwight, the big bearded nerd, will be taking over DM duties on that show. If you were a fan of Legends and Legacies, we do appreciate you watching that show. But due to a series of unfortunate events, that campaign has been canceled. It will not be returning. It was a difficult decision, but it was in the best interest of everybody involved. However, in its time slot, at a time to be determined in the near future, we will be having on alternate Tuesdays a new campaign. And I think I can show this. I say I think because the book is, hold on, a bunch of papers almost fell, has a lot of green in it. I'm going to be running Harper's Tale as a 10-episode mini campaign called Hope and Redemption, and everybody has agreed to it, V, so I think I can go ahead and safely say who our players are. V will be joining us as one of those players. Stonefly Kai will be another player. Goblin Katie DM Jazzy Hands and the Dr. B. I'm so excited that I threw out a net and just said to a couple people, hey, I would love to have you guys be a part of this. And they immediately jumped on and said, yes. And also, we should probably get these people involved too. And everybody's on board. It's going to be 10 sessions every other week, starting probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks ish. They're going to be shorter sessions. They're going to be 2.5 hours, a little bit earlier time slot, but it's going to be this is such an amazing group of players, some of whom I've had a chance to DM for, and some who have been on my wish list to DM for. And I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I love the format of mini campaigns. So I hope you will tune in for that. Stay tuned. Hopefully within the next week or so, I'll be putting out the first teaser posters for that campaign. And we'll get everybody hyping up that show. And that'll be on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday. And then, of course, we got this show here on Thursdays. And a couple other things that Dwight and I are working on for miniseries and a new epic full campaign starting in November on Sunday nights. I think I mentioned it before, so I can say it now. Though we don't have our players all figured out yet. I will be running Tyranny of Dragons, both Horde of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat, as our new long-running Sunday campaign. So lots of cool stuff coming up. If you're not following us already, you can, I think if you just type my name in chat, or type the word beard, it'll bring up all my social media links, just like that. And of course, be sure to check out all of these folks' amazing channels. The theDMsCraft, V has a treasure trove of stuff on the Crafting Muse channel, and of course, all you got to do is follow V on social media and see where else she's putting some awesome content out at. Zach is on Twitter, as well as Dan. Ted being a major component of Nerdarchy, so you already know where to find him. And Jeremy, man, if you're not, you know what? Right now, I'm going to request, if you're still here and you haven't already done so, please go to Erasmus Expeditions. Jeremy is so close to reaching 400 subscribers on his channel. This is a masterclass in dungeon mastering, as evidenced by the session we had last night with the Momentum campaign. Jeremy is just a prolific and incredible dungeon master, and you are selling yourself short if you are not following his channel. So with that, we're going to go ahead and head out of here, but not before I say a huge thank you, as always, to Scotty, Dan, V, Zach, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. We're going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Mitigate.
Mitigate.